Hello and welcome to DC Figures and Collectibles. I'm Tyler G of Batman Figs on Instagram, as well as Batman TAS Figs on YouTube. And I am joined by Scott P, who is at the.batfan, joining us all the way from Stoke-on-Trent, England. Scott, how you doing?
I'm doing good, thank you. Yeah, hello to you, hello to everybody listening and watching on YouTube. Big thanks for tuning in. How you doing, man? Good?
I'm doing good. At this time of year, as you know, is crazy. I'm sure you're busy.
Absolutely. Yes, definitely.
Which it makes it even better that you're able to join. I mean, I'm glad that you're able to do this because, I mean, this time of year is crazy for everyone. So the fact that we're able to get any shows out is pretty impressive. And we also got one more show that we want to do, which is going to be another year review on toys all around. Yeah. Our favorites are the ones that are maybe the ones that were hyped that sucked, or maybe the ones that were not hyped that ended up being better than we thought. Absolutely. Stuff like that. That'll be a lot of fun. Looking forward to that. And also, right off the top, we have the watches that we're still promoting, the Undone Watches. So if you guys are interested in two very cool-looking Batman watches and want to check them out, you could go check out my page. You could go check out Scott's page. You could go check out Lewis's page. Oh, there's one. For those that are watching. Oh, that's perfect for watching.
Intended.
You can also check out Cult of the Batman. I mean, they all got images of these watches and their own thoughts on them. So if you want to check those out, do it. And then if you buy one, part of the proceeds go to Hope for Henry, which is a charity helping out kids and anyone who is having an extra long stay in the hospital, make it more entertaining and a little less boring and less just every day being the same thing, which that's a very cool thing that I'm glad that we get to do with Undone Watches. But other than that, how's your weekend figures been? You had a very cool weekend theme, which we're going to talk about.
Thank you. Yeah, good fun. Yeah, finding new stuff all the time and trying new things all the time. So trying to fully get to grips with the camera and all that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, it's been a fun week, man. Definitely has.
Where do you feel your proficiency is on the camera? What level?
Average.
Average?
I'm slowly getting there with learning how to get things right and learning how to blend backgrounds is something that I definitely want to try and improve on because some of it hasn't been the best. So, yeah, you definitely need to improve with that.
All I know is I get more and more people talking all the time how much your pictures are improving and they love your page. So.
Thank you. That's kind. That's super.
At least people are noticing that you're putting in the work. Because I mean, every picture you post lately is pretty cool. Especially when we were talking about the Undone Watches.
Oh, yeah.
I really like this picture.
Yeah,
this is so awesome.
That was the one I originally wanted to do from the very, very beginning. I got the figure from. Where did I buy it from now? Let me make sure I get the correct name. Comics and Toys, and the brilliant website in the UK. Got loads of cool figures, and I've been looking for that Atom figure forever, and finally found it on there. So snapped that up instantly and wanted to do a picture of it. I thought it was quite timely with the crossover that's happening at the moment as well. So, stole a few of the posters that came with the Triforce Arkham Origins diorama, put them on my table, and used the picture frame.
I love that part of the picture.
Yeah, to put the Wayne family photo in there, and then I just got a background off Google. Pretty straightforward stuff. I nicked the Triforce Arkham Knight Batmobile key as well and put it behind the Atom. Just as an accessory.
I was wondering what that was.
Yeah, it's the remote control that switches the Arkham Knight Batmobile. It's pretty cool.
And how awesome is the Atom's accessory of the very little Atom?
It's it doesn't actually come with a small one. That's the multiverse one comes with that. This is the DC Collectibles one.
The Collectibles.
Yeah, that the DC Collectible Icons one that has a mini one, and also the multiverse one has the mini one. But this is the DC Collectibles Legends of Tomorrow Atom. It's such a cool figure, fantastic. The articulation is brilliant, and the paint and detail amazing.
Now that you said it, and I look at the visor, you can tell it's a little bit a step up.
Yeah, it's such an awesome figure. The only downside
is too enthralled with all the accessories. Oh, it doesn't?
No, it doesn't come with an alternate head, unfortunately, because that the multiverse one does. But I mean, the head sculpt is terrible anyway on that multiverse one, so it's no big deal.
Yeah, because I was gonna put it on the Kingdom Come Superman I have, but it's just so bad, like it's not even worth it.
Yeah, it's awful, isn't it? It really is.
It's pretty bad. Now, your weekend theme was time travel, and we got a little
indeed.
preview of this first picture.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people love, and it's one of your favorite episodes, as well as a lot of people's from Justice League.
Absolutely is, yeah.
And this is your second picture, and again, I think the best thing and that I've been enjoying about your stuff lately is your what if photos and just the creative stuff that you've been doing, because this is a pretty cool what if.
Thank you. Yeah, that's really kind. And I just went off the fact that Flashlight went too far on the time travel thing that he did in the DCEU and ended up many, many years into the future. I mean, it's something that they kind of did in the animated series when it was Static that went to the future and ended up in Batman Beyond times, overstepped the mark and went too far. So, yeah, I just kind of used that as inspiration and put the Flash in there. And just also for the fact I wanted to take a Mezco Batman Beyond picture because he's just so cool and underused that Flash as well. The Mafex Flash is just amazing figure.
I could actually see if we got to progress and see more of this timeline, more of the story, if Zack Snyder doing a little Easter egg like this.
Yeah, that'd be cool. That would be really cool.
The one cool thing is we actually do get to see it, and we get to see it from your work. And then this one, busting out the old 3.75 inches.
Yeah. Love these figures so much. And the episode as well, Once and Future Thing, is my favourite Justice League episode, so it was definitely going to get featured more than once in this episode. In this theme. So yeah, definitely wanted to do that. And I mean that Warhawk figure, and also the Static figure. Like, how often are we going to ever see those Maze? Like, it's just such a diverse line. The Mattel Justice League Unlimited line. It's got virtually every single character that you could possibly think of in that line, and you know. It's something DC Collectibles should be doing right now, but they aren't.
Exactly. Especially, you mentioned that how many times are we going to see that Static Shock figure? Exactly. Especially that specific one where it's the older version and it's in the future. Yeah. It's going to be a miracle if that ever gets made into like a multi-articulated figure.
Yeah, it is. And that particular style as well, the Icon Static figure is pretty poor. It doesn't look good, and
no, it doesn't.
You know that Static figure though that they made for them, that line, absolutely brilliant. And the fact that they do two John Stewarts as well, like with the goatee and then one with the clean shaved and then the hair on his head, that's just so brilliant. You know, Mattel really, really did well with that line. Really, really did. Fantastic. Fantastic line, and like I say, it's just incredibly diverse. You know, every character's in there, and you know, for completists, that is the best line I think you could ever possibly want to collect. Just brilliant.
Yeah, that line actually has a Clock King figure.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Which
I love this.
I'm very close to pulling the trigger on. I really want to get a Clock King figure.
I was surprised you didn't already. This one's I like this comment. Never knew that Static Shock figure existed.
I know, it's mad at it. It is crazy, and it costs an arm and a leg to get that 3-pack with Static, Warhawk, and I think Batman Beyond was in that pack. No, it wasn't Batman Beyond, it was Aquagirl. Aquagirl was in that pack. So
Batman Beyond even looks great.
Yeah, he looks brilliant, and he's, you know, the fact that he's that they even did that figure is fantastic, because they did all the Beyond stuff from the actual Kenner line, and then they came back with that figure and just knocked out the park. So it's great from Mattel.
And this picture I really like because it's a really, really good blend of practical effects and the screen in the background.
Yeah. This is what I was kind of mentioning with blending. So blending backgrounds with figures has been tough. So I'd say adjust the sort of screen brightness and things like that. And, you know, it's just little subtle things that you don't get the chance to sort of edit usually, because if you're taking, so I used to take pictures on my phone and I didn't really look into screen background editing or anything like that, and you know, sometimes it didn't blend as well, but now I've got the chance to do it because the camera's on a tripod, it just sits there and I can mess with things and not have to change angles or anything like that. So just trying to squeeze every bit out I can, really. But I mean, that picture all came out of being bored of taking Mezco pictures of the Nightmare Batman. I'm just so bored of that figure. Honestly, like, people take great pictures of it, but I just see it that often. I just got bored of it now, so decided to bring out the Mafex one and use that Bruce Wayne head sculpt, which is brilliant. Even though they've released better ones since, I still think it's brilliant. Fantastic figure.
Yeah, and also, not to mention just the picture itself, the blending, but again, the accessories, just all the stuff on top of the table. That's cool.
Yeah.
The papers, the mother box, kryptonite.
Thank you. Yeah, cheers, man. And also the Barry Allen head as well is brilliant from Mafex. Love Mafex so much. They kill it with their figures.
It looks a little better than the multiverse one. No, it looks a lot
It
better.
does. And I really love that Nightmare Batman figure. I really, really hope that Beast Kingdom can address the coat issue on theirs, because I'm going to get that figure. I think that looks the best of a Mafex and Mezco combined, because it doesn't look overly bulky like the coat does on the Mezco one. So I'm hoping they do good with that.
Yeah, it doesn't look like a down jacket.
Yeah, or bog roll, as we discussed before. Hopefully it looks better.
And then this is a picture of a figure that is a beautiful figure if you own it, and it doesn't get enough love. But I'm glad to see that it finally gets a nice picture done by you on the new camera.
Thank you. Yeah, Lewis told me I need to take more pictures of Martian Manhunter, so I obliged immediately. I remember first time I'd done this picture maybe 2 times now, I think. But I remember the first time I was going to do a picture of it, I was a little bit nervous of uploading a picture that, well, basically has Hitler in it. Let's face it. So yeah. I was very, very nervous about doing that. You know what people are like these days? All the snowflakes come out and start moaning about things like this. But I was just like, do you know what? I don't care. I just posted it, and it went down well twice, and it did a third time. So this time I tried to do a bit more blurred background, to added in a few more accessories as well. Put some canisters on the right hand side, an actual newspaper used this time, a proper laptop, just those little extra details.
I love it. I especially love all the little canisters from the different sets of Batman, DC Collectibles.
Yeah. Thank you.
Even one from the Batcave.
Yeah.
Well, actually, no, that's from Poison Ivy. Yeah.
See the one in front. Yeah, that's Poison Ivy.
I just associate it with my Batcave.
we use these accessories that often. They do become like so versatile. You forget where
it blends in your mind. Yeah, and then we're back to this one, of course, the beautiful front shot.
Yeah, with the Atom.
And then this is I was really happy to see how good this came out, because we did this episode and it's always tough to come up with an idea, but this one is brilliant.
That was a challenge. It really was, and you did a brilliant picture. I've seen with the Selena Kyle and Tigress, and the custom Tigress as well. Brilliant. And yeah, it was tough to kind of have an idea. I wanted originally to do a massive moon with Batman and standing in front of it in darkness, and it just looked terrible. So I decided to do this instead, where he's sort of on the island on the ridge investigating where he's his surroundings basically, and just tried to put more emphasis on the figure rather than the setup around it.
Well, I just look at the cape posing on it and think that is just so well done, and that must have taken a while just to get perfect.
A little bit, yeah. The actual point of the cape was easy. It was how to make the look of the cape on the right hand side look natural. That was the tricky bit. I mean, you'll know yourself, like you move one bit of the cape and it all moves, and it just looks weird. And because the material is not very soft, it's quite sort of rigid, even though it's metal. It's quite. I'm disappointed they kind of didn't address that. It should be more of like more of like a silk material maybe, or something. I don't know. Maybe like the original Kenners, but with wires in, perhaps. But
that'd be nice.
Yeah, they'd be quite cool, but they've not done that with it. So I still hate that Av Crunch though. I hate it so much.
I was gonna say, I'm surprised you used that figure.
Still can't get past it. I hate it. I hope they ditch it for the new figure, but they won't, because it's DC Collectibles. They won't.
And then talking about more pics of Martian Manhunter, here's another.
Yes, Martian Manhunter with Clark or Superman. I couldn't get I couldn't get any custom body for the Clark figure, which is what I was trying to do. I was trying to use the Essentials Rorschach figure and then put that head on it, 'cause it's kind of the outfit he wears in it, but it just looks so stupid. He looked too thin. He looked like the Earth 2 Superman from the Flashpoint Paradox. It just looked awful. So didn't bother with that, and then just wanted to do a few different. So there's three main stories in that one. You've got the Superman and Manhunter story, and then you've got the GL and Hawkgirl element of the story, which is a great story, and that's where the sort of
it's so well done.
Thank you. Yeah, that's sort of where the relationship between them started to really get serious in that episode. And then also we've got the Flash and Human Eye. That was just a bit of an extra thrown in there. I got a Santa hat off eBay and just lobbed it on Human Eye and put him in front of the rubber ducky picture in the background.
I love the Santa hat too.
Yeah.
Well, then this brings us up to today, where we get a great.
Yes.
I'm sure everyone knows that you're a fan of, but we were promised this because it's this time of year. And you delivered.
Thank you. Yeah, I definitely wanted to do some Arkham Origins pictures for this time of year, and then I definitely wanted to follow through on that promise. So been playing Arkham Origins again this week, and it's just so freaking good. It really is. Amazing game, and loving replaying it, and definitely inspired a few pictures, as you've probably seen this week. There's a couple more to come, I think. Maybe two more.
I really love the background and how well you did with blending this one, especially the perspective is really nice.
Thanks. Yeah, so I used a short ISO. I think that's the right phrase. Camera people will laugh at me. So just the aperture, that's the word. Yeah, low aperture on this one, just to blur the background a bit more and put the focus on Batman, just to give it that more action shot sort of feel. Did the same thing with the Tiger picture as well, just to make that background look blurry and more misty. Just kept it as simple as possibly could, really, and just whacking a few accessories. The background is from Arkham City, the museum, Penguin's Museum.
Okay. That's one of my favorite parts.
It's a great part. It's specifically from the bit where you see the ninja run up the stairs. Having been captured by Penguin. That's the actual screenshot that's taken from that actual game. So.
You're giving me flashbacks as you describe it.
Yeah, brilliant game, fantastic game. Origins, loving replaying it right now. It's been a lot of fun. And
how far through it are you at this point?
Probably 2/3, maybe done.
Nice.
Well, maybe less than that. Maybe sort of 3/5 done. But yeah, it's been good fun. Love doing the Arkham games. Yeah, Origins is amazing. That it's just got so many cool Easter eggs, stories, villains as well. You know, we got so many cool figures out of that line from Arkham Origins, like an Anarchy figure, just so cool.
Yeah, and also a lot of great Batcave scenes, good speeches.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, absolutely. There's some fantastic.
For a whole different team that did this game, it's pretty good.
No, it really is, man. And right, we're talking about Batcave scenes.
No, you don't get off that easy, Scott. What is this weekend's theme?
Oh, this weekend's theme coming up. Right, predictably, it is a Christmas theme. You would never have guessed this time of year.
But I'm really looking forward to this theme. I'm really looking forward to see what you guys do.
Held off a lot of pictures being uploaded for this theme, so hopefully you and everyone will enjoy them. So we're going to be starting that tonight as we record this Friday the 20th.
And this will really get you in the mood if you're not realizing it's only a few days left till Christmas now.
Absolutely, yeah.
So that's actually another great timing.
It is. No, it is. And actually, while we're talking of timing, that was another interesting segue you come up with there. Here's Alfred with some fantastic timepieces.
Yes.
We talked about that in the last episode, but I thought it'd be a nice segue. So if we're moving up, another time traveling issue here that we've seen with Flash and Reverse Flash. Is brilliant idea to show off the two Soap Studio figures. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant shot. I really like that Reverse Flash. He just looks so cool.
Yeah, and that's the thing I really wanted to show off too. Is I feel like the costume itself doesn't get enough recognition. I wanted to show off the side the details, and it turned out pretty good. And hopefully people get an idea of just how cool that figure is. Because of all the Soap Studios figures, that's probably the best one they've created.
Yeah, it looks brilliant.
Sturdy wise.
Really do like that Flash as well. I was looking at prices for that this week rather than getting the DC Collectibles one, but I had to get the DC Collectibles one because that's just so rare now. It's a fantastic figure. Where did you take that picture, by the way?
That is actually outside, and it's again in a low light situation.
Yeah.
And because when they first meet up in the first season, they're on a football field, and so I feel like that gives enough of a vibe where they're outside and on a field.
Yeah.
So that's why I went with that. But also just gave a lot of depth too because it's outside.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask about because the depth. How are you finding the camera with depth and things like that?
That's the thing that I'm trying to figure out the most on this so far is trying to figure out how this thing picks up depth and how it picks up at certain lights, because certain lights and daylight, it's completely different from if you're setting it up inside. And so I'm still trying to get to know the camera, but I'm sure with how much I take photos, it won't be long before I'm fully acquainted.
Yes, but it's part of the fun as well, isn't it? I guess.
Yeah.
Trying to go.
That's the fun of anything, is the journey and learning and figuring it out.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. And where is the picture? I definitely want to ask. But this one, here we go. Love this picture a lot, and the episode as well is fantastic.
I'm glad I was finally able to, in my mind, do this episode justice finally, because I feel like before, it's one of the episodes I've never had a definitive photo for. I feel like I have to get at least one definitive photo for every episode. And I feel like I finally got it with this, and it's because the ready sets, I mean, they have so many options, and a lot of people just do the same shot with them. So I was like, okay, I got to do more of an interior shot with it because it looks like a factory. Yeah. And again, I added depth because there's nothing in the background there where the blue light is. That's just like a wall, very like all the way in the back of the room, and I just put a blue light in the back to have that.
It looks brilliant.
Yeah, so if you look at the bottom right, you kind of see that that's carpet. So
see, you wouldn't really tell that. It does look like it's just a factory, to be honest, because the blue on the background blends in with like the blue that you can kind of see like here in places there, and at the top there as well. You can kind of see the blue, so it doesn't look unnatural or anything, which is great.
I'm glad that it came out good. And again, if you haven't tried the ready set, you guys should try that out because it's pretty. It has a lot of options. Yeah,
it's fantastic. I think you're doing yourself a disservice as well when you say you haven't got a definitive shot. I feel like you got about 4 for that episode.
I hope so.
This as well. This is my favourite picture I've seen you take in so long. I love this picture so much. It's fantastic.
This is one that's one of those baffling ones because I don't know why it took off the way it did. I'm glad people are liking it, but still just riddling me.
No, on the contrary, I do think it's got all the reactions. It's brilliant, and the posing on Batman's cape is amazing.
That took a while.
I love how my favourite thing about this picture is that Damien just looks like he doesn't give a shit what they're saying. He's just walking forward, and he isn't interested in anything they're saying.
Which is very much like him.
Yeah, exactly. Ra's al Ghul just looks just so arrogant and bombastic kind of person, which is what he is. And then the background as well. Where's the background from it? Because it looks brilliant. It really reminds me of I've said this before, any slight Egyptian background, I'm just like, it reminds me of the JLU episode when they go into the pyramid. Yeah, I'm obliged to say that, but yeah, it looks brilliant.
Well, actually, both those props in it, both the little statuette to the right and the papyrus hieroglyphs in the background, that's actually from Egypt. And my mom and dad went on a trip there back around 2002, cool. And they brought back a lot of cool stuff. And they recently sold the dresser on an app, and we were going through the drawers, cleaning it out, and we found that, and I was like, "What? How come no one ever told me we had this?" So I instantly ran and got my figures, drove back, and I had to do this photo.
Yeah, it's absolutely perfect, man. It looks brilliant. Love that picture.
Well, this is all credit to the people that made the hieroglyphs, and also like what you said with the Ra's al Ghul figure. They just absolutely killed that figure because everything about him is perfect to me.
So excited to get that figure. It looks amazing. It really does.
You're going to love it.
Poses look brilliant and fantastic. absolutely fantastic picture. Like the background, again, like with the depth, how blurred it is and everything, it looks perfect.
I'm glad it came out all right.
Yeah, because sometimes you see like when people take pictures, they put them right up against the background, and it looks too sharp, and it's a little unnatural. So
I'm guilty of doing that early.
To be fair, exactly the same. I'm guilty of doing the same.
I used to just cram everything together in a little.
Screw them all up and put them into a position where they're all getting into like one little square of frame, like with the old Instagram framing that they used to do. So glad they don't know, because like again, how tall the picture is, it shows off everything. Perfect.
And that's the thing I struggled with. Like, do I go wide shot and just have a little bit?
Yes.
That sort of thing.
I'm always guilty of doing the landscape pictures rather than like the portrait shape, but the portrait shape works perfectly for that. Really does.
Especially on Instagram.
Yeah. Here we go. So this is something new, another portrait picture, which is fantastic. And there's a few characters in there that I'm going to be asking you about with your latest picture you've done a little bit later. But this is a new acquisition that you've got.
Yes, and this is another thing that's a lot of people think Zavi is just like clothing and little trinkets, but they actually have statues from DC Collectibles as well as action figures, and they even have the new line, the animated series continues, or the adventure continues. They have figures of that already up for pre-order, and the prices are pretty good. Yeah. Like this statue was pretty. If you look online from what the price usually is, it's a good discount, and it's my first statue. I'm actually surprised at how cool it is, and it wasn't as big as I thought it was going to be. So it actually does look like it could scale if you fudge the scale a little bit with these figures. But it's actually very cool. And if you use the code Collectibles 10 at Zavi's online store, you'll get 10% off any of these collectibles or statues. So that's a little added bonus, especially if you get some spending money around Christmas. But yeah, I think the statue's pretty cool. I wouldn't understand. I still don't understand people that pay hundreds of dollars for these, unless you just are really big into statues and that sort of thing. But
yeah,
for what it is and the price, I'd say it's pretty cool.
No, I agree on that. It's crazy, the people that pay all this money for these statues and they can't really do anything with them. It's just kind of there. I mean, the only ones I do get, I love them, Prime 1/4 scale statues by Sideshow. They are a joke. They're actually a joke how good they are. But yeah,
and those are the ones that have like interchangeable arms and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, those are cool.
You can kind of pose them and move them, like the Arkham Knight Battle Damaged Batman. That goes for like over £1,000. It's just such a magnificent piece. But yeah, that's fantastic. I do enjoy that picture, and the Extreme Sets bank actually being used for a bank as well, which is what I about that one. This picture, when I saw this picture at first, I was like, the quote, like, so many faces, so different from one another, so few smiles, and it's just brilliant. I love that picture a lot.
I wanted to give a little love to the original Joker that went on a talk show, because I just seen so many videos, and it's cool seeing all the Blu-ray clips of the new Joker movie that's out, but I wanted to give a nod to the first Joker to go on a talk show, and he actually did really good. I heard he killed that night.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'm glad you like it. And that stuff is the background. That's just like these vinyl things that come with photo boxes. And early on when I started this, I got a photo box as a present. These are like backdrops for it. But if you shine light and everything through it, it actually does look like curtains. So I figured I'd use them for curtains.
Yeah, it looks brilliant. I really do like that picture. And that scene in the Dave Endocrine show is just so good.
Especially on the animated one, which the rare time an animated version is just as good, if not better, than the comic.
Yeah, I think that quote is my favorite quote. The "so few smiles" quote. I think that's my favorite ever joke. In fact, it is my favorite ever Joker quote. It's just so good. Apart from never rub another man's rhubarb, that's probably my favorite. Actually, I've changed my mind instantly. I love that one. It's so good.
It always goes back to Jack.
It does, honestly, it does. And another Joker as well. Fantastic.
I had to show love. I feel like I had to pay tribute to different Jokers this week.
Yeah, I love the
as much as I love Joaquin
as well. Yeah,
Good. I'm glad.
Yeah, because that's the sort of exact thing that he does in the actual scene as well. Like he sort of tilts his head to the side, and brilliant.
And I took a cue from you on this actually, because that wood onto the right, that's from a Dutch, or no, it's a French door, a wooden French door
Really?
leading to the backyard, which is why it also has a window.
Oh, nice. That's cool.
Yeah, so I was like, it kind of works.
Doors are more useful than they get credit for. They really are.
Yeah. This is it's a fun one to do, and that's another Soap Studios figure.
Yeah, fantastic. I do love that Soap Studio figure. I think one day we're destined to cross paths, but brilliant shot. And rounding off in fact, actually, no, that's not quite right. I need to refresh your feed because this is the picture I wanted to ask you about. I love this one. Mentioned it earlier. The Critters episode is one of, well, in fact, it probably is the worst episode, but I feel like you've done one of the best pictures for it because I just love the poses and the characters they use in this one. Even if the episode's garbage, I love the hero characters they use.
Well, it's always fun, especially in the original Batman animated series, when Batman has any interaction with Harvey, especially in A Bullet for Bullock. It's always fun hearing them talk. So the fact that they get teamed up so much is always interesting and fun. And I know we talked about it before. They were trying to go for a tribute to the. Of course, they say it after the fact. We don't know if it was actually true while the time they were making it, but they said they make tribute to the '66 Batman, and that's why it's so goofy. But it's a little too goofy.
Yeah, it's pretty bad, isn't it? This episode.
Yes, but I'm glad that you like this picture, and I'm glad that
I do.
Other people enjoy the picture, but the episode itself stinks.
Yeah, as I said it in the comments in this picture, I'll say it again. It's a shame this episode doesn't follow from this picture because it's brilliant.
I would actually prefer watching Terrible Trio over this.
Oh god, it's like choosing whether you want to be shot or whether you want to be stabbed. It's really difficult, but I think
burned or drowned.
Yeah, it is. Honestly, it's like that kind of choice. But I think you're probably right. I think I'd probably go for Terrible Trio. At least that's got like Batman and Robin working together, which is quite fun to see. And Alfred comes up with a few snappy comments, which is good.
As always.
As always, yeah. But in this one, it's full of bad puns and even worse cows running around everywhere. So,
and there's that episode is always a pain to shoot as well.
I can imagine, and it's going to be too difficult when we get around to reviewing it. I might have to try and buy like a 1/6 scale cow or something, and pit it against Batman.
That'd be awesome. Now, you mentioned to me a little bit ago that you have a figure on the way that you just ordered. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, so it was very difficult to decide between the Joker we were just talking about, the Soap Studio one, or deciding over the Bullet Head one. I've gone for the Bullet Head one because... Which
I think is actually smart because at least we get someone to give their opinion on that and see what they think.
Yeah, well, that's it. And I honestly don't think I could better any of the pictures that you've done either. So I've just gone for something different again, just because I want to just try something else, and I want to see what Bullethead have got. So, and I hope Soap Studio hurry up and release that Dark Knight Batman because I think I'll probably end up getting that. I mean, I love the Mafex one to death, but I think that one could be pretty cool. And Soap Studio need to do their Supergirl figure as well. They need to hurry up.
I have inside knowledge that they'll be dropping new stuff the new year. Hopefully we'll be starting to see some stuff.
Oh, actually, we've got more news on the new year as well. I'll talk about in a minute. But the Bullethead Joker looks really good. I did a lot of research looking online at prices and then toy reviews on YouTube and stuff, and it seems really good. It just seems really good. It's like the detail on it, and just to have a Phoenix Joker, a Heath Joker, and then a Jack Joker all in soft goods. I just couldn't resist getting it, so decided to snap him up. And
I'm already seeing the pictures in my head.
Yeah, there's going to be some 3 Joker pictures, I think. But yeah, it's just fantastic, and I love the coat that he comes with as well, and the fact that you can take it off, and he's got like the shirt on underneath it. He has like the applause in the prison Brilliant.
And they're not making you buy a whole nother figure like Mayfix to get that
Yeah,
scene.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, that's gonna be interesting. I'm getting the I'm hoping I get the V for Vendetta, so I'll have some knowledge of their quality. That's the one thing I'm really hoping is I want to feel it's how it feels. You know, if is it dense, is it heavy? Does it feel like it's gonna be weak or fragile? Because some of the Soap Studios feel a little weak sometimes, a little fragile, like early Mayfix style fragile.
Yeah, especially when black companies are coming early to it as well. So, I mean, it's one of their first releases, along with the V for Vendetta figure. You know, it's their first proper release in 112. I mean, they've done 1/6 scale stuff, so they know what QC issues to look for, I guess, but obviously not in this scale. So, I mean, like with the V-Toys Batman that I've got, that's really fragile, like super fragile. It's one of my favourite figures I've got, but you have to be so careful with it. And I just hope the Bullethead Joker isn't like that. I mean, I'm expecting it to be fragile, but not on that level. So hopefully it's going to be really superposable. It seems like it is on reviews. Like people have been moving their head around, arms around, wrists around. It looks fine. So.
And how much was it? Around 70?
Yeah, but I think it was 75 I paid. So it's not too bad. It's cheaper than a Mezco, just a little bit cheaper.
But it also looks just as high quality from the pictures.
Yeah, and the shipping was free, which Mezco absolutely rape you on every time you order from them. So it's unbelievably annoying. But hopefully that'll be good.
Yeah, not only do they make you wait extra long, they'll also take all you got for shipping.
Yes. And we're talking about the new year, new figures. Kevin at Renke Customs, he had a bit of a look around and has seen that McFarlane are definitely going to be releasing figures in January, which is good news.
Did he send you a screenshot?
Yes, he got that. Yeah, so that's very exciting. Also on the website, that accidentally, which we revealed on this show, they accidentally revealed the McFarlane range and then withdrew it instantly because they made a cock up, which is Toys in the Attic, based in the UK. They have now got an actual McFarlane DC range link on there. So no figures on there at the moment, but we know it's going to be happening soon. So that's very exciting. So yeah, I think January through to August, we're going to see the first few waves confirm that so far. So, and there is going to be a Batman and Superman in the first wave animated, which I can't wait for. Very excited.
So don't spend all your Christmas money at one time.
No, don't do that. Whatever you do, having just wasted money on a Joker before Christmas. But,
hey, it's worth it.
Yeah,
especially that.
That's definitely going to happen, which I'm very excited about. I can't wait to see somebody else do an animated figure. Someone really take it to DC Collectibles, because they've had it too cushy for too long, and they've been taking the mick a little bit, which is what we are going to talk about a little bit more now.
Well, also, I mean, like with DC Collectibles, they had so many opportunities to release a lot of classic characters. So hopefully Tom McFarlane steps up, because we already talked a little bit about Clock King. That's a huge one that people that are fans of the show, and there's a lot of it, actually love that figure or would love that figure.
And release proper figures, like a proper Robin figure. That would be good, with some different features and alternate heads and all.
Get that smile off his face.
Oh man, yeah, literally, like that would be brilliant.
Give me Robin's Reckoning Part 2 Robin.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
This was with the Joker Robin. It's a Wonderful Life Robin.
Yeah. Oh god, it is frustrating. But
also, like we talked about, it's going to be interesting to see if they go full on, look exactly like DC Collectibles style right off the show, or if they go like how Mattel has done stuff before with Poison Ivy, like, oh, well, that's inspired by the animated version, and it's just the colors are the same, but it looks off.
I'm hoping they go accurate, but I mean, if they don't, we've got nothing to lose. We've still got DC collectible figures, so
that's true.
But
and a lot of people. Go finish it. Yeah.
Even if they don't do any good, like those two figures, they've still got so many other cool ones coming out. Anyway, so they've got like an Arrow figure, TV figure coming out, which I definitely want to get. There's also
hopefully it's the newest. So hopefully it's the newest Arrow costume as well.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. Definitely.
And what'd you say about the Superman?
Yeah, like the armored Superman is going to be pretty cool.
Armored?
And
Yeah.
we've got the movie Harley Quinn, so that's going to be quite cool. So,
will it be worth buying over the Mafex version?
Who knows?
We'll see.
Mafex will probably take another 8 months anyway, so
that's true.
It's not going to be too bad, hopefully.
And then Mafex, you always never buy a Mafex right away because the price drops dramatically after a few weeks.
It does, yeah.
So, but in terms of DC Collectibles, they were talking about how it's cool that people are going to get a second chance if they missed out on certain ones before. There's one thing that you will not be able to get in the new releases because DC Collectibles recently just put out single versions of all the Rogues Gallery pack that if you went online to try to find it, you'd see that it's very expensive. And there's one accessory in the Mr. Freeze, and it's in the Rogues pack that's not on the single release, and that's the snow globe. But that kind of sucks.
Yeah, I think it's ridiculous. Like DC Collectibles have missed a seriously good opportunity to really improve on the figures, re-release them, and say, look, we can really put the effort in. We're doing better. We're progressing. And again, they've just taken a step backwards. It's just so stupid. Like they ruined the colours. They colored Poison Ivy in with a highlighter. They've put like a black line around her eyes. It just looks horrendous. Mr. Freeze doesn't look any better, and Croc and Bane don't look any different. Terrible. They've just slapped in a few extra hands, which is just re-releases of old hands anyway. I've said it before, but Bane's hands are the same as the Superman hands from the Justice League figures. Just so lazy.
Now I want to do photos of him with fingerless gloves on, Superman.
Brilliant. Yeah, like a Michael Jackson Superman.
But yeah, that stinks because I almost stepped on and almost broke the Nora snow globe. So I was thinking, if I did break it, who cares? They're releasing it again. Yeah. But they're not. So if you ever lost or broke it, you're out of luck unless you want to drop it close to $1,000. And they got it. It's a little figure. It's a little thing. How much could it cost?
$1,000 snow globe.
That's essentially what it is now.
It's just so unbelievably lazy. It really is.
I might do a post just to make fun of him for that. Who knows?
Yeah. yeah. Do it. Someone stole Mr. Freeze's snow globe. Oh wait, I never had one.
Yeah, that stinks. I am thinking I might have to get the new Freeze though, just to make up for the cracks in the piping in the arms, that sort of thing.
Yeah. Simon, who is at Batman the Animated Fan, I'm going to be picking a few up and sending them to him because he lives away now. So I'm going to get some of them for him. So see if they're any good, and I might get some myself. But honestly, they don't look great. They really don't.
I might have to go in the store and give them a look in person today, see how bad the paint looks.
Yeah.
But
that's the thing with DC Collectibles now. You go in looking for one that isn't so bad, not one that is really good.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
But then they're going to charge you $30 now. Yeah. Instead of like before, it used to be like 21, 22. Then 25.
So yeah, I noticed what we mentioned about earlier, the Adventures Continue figures. They're slowly creeping up in price. Very steadily. Only got a couple of pounds or a couple of dollars at a time, but it all adds up. It's like an extra £10, £15 or dollars per wave then, and it all adds up. They do take the mick a little bit, especially considering all they've done is add a few lines on paint with some of them.
And it is also kind of messed up because they know people will pay for it because there's people that love the show, and so they just don't care. They'll pay for it.
Just taking the mick out of the completists and people who want to buy their stuff. It's a shame how much it's changed like so quickly. And yeah, DC Collectibles. For
a solid year, we were getting a new figure every few weeks, which that was impressive.
Yeah. Like this year, what have we got from them? We've got the Grey Ghost, Two-Face, Scarecrow.
That's a good solid wave.
And then the Bat Cycle, and that's it, isn't it? I mean, it's not great, really.
No.
And then a few Essentials figures, which are just awful anyway. Apart from the Red Hoods, like the rest of them are pretty awful, and it's not been a great year for them, I don't think.
No, but we'll save that for a big year.
Yeah.
But in terms of DC media in the new year, we already talked the last podcast, but you'll soon be able to binge Titans. You've planned accordingly.
Can't wait for that.
took a week off to binge and soak it all in.
Yes, absolutely. Hopefully it's going to be worth it. Although I've seen a lot of people now want the original cut of Titans. Like, we've already been through this with the Schneider cut. Can we not do this again with Titans? I really can't be bothered to be posting virtually every day with hashtags. I can't be bothered with that.
If you were Titans, why would you release any of that stuff?
It's just weird, isn't it?
Because, I mean, the fact that you had a crossover with the Doom Patrol and everything, that makes it seem like it would have been way cooler than what we got. Of course, it could have been sucky, and that's why they... Yeah. But why would you show any of it?
Yeah.
I don't understand. Like, this is what could have happened, but we didn't. Big deal.
I know, especially when you've been criticised for it. Please don't come out with things that could have happened instead. All you're doing is, loading the gun with a bullet that could shoot you in the back with. It's just so stupid.
Now release the original Titans cut. I can't wait for that hashtag movement. But
yeah,
and also I've seen the newest episodes of the Harley Quinn show.
Oh yeah, any good?
The second episode had a few jokes where I actually laughed, and it was a lot better. The writing was way better. You weren't blasted with F-bombs every other word, which that was good.
That's good.
Overall, it was a little better, and I see the tone they're going for, and that's just the thing I think people have to get used to. And I watched the latest episode after watching our episode for review today, and that was just decent.
Yeah.
I think the second episode so far has been the funniest, if they're going for funny.
Is Batman in the second episode or the third one, is it?
He's a little bit in glimpses of the first and second, but he's a lot in this one. And the third one, it was pretty funny just for how they portrayed Damian Wayne as Robin. That was actually pretty funny, but that was all it was because Damian. It wasn't anything with Harley, so
yeah.
But that was interesting, and I also like the voice casting for Robin on that. The way because it actually sounded like a little 10-year-old kid. So
that's good.
It was weird hearing him talk like that instead of being like an 18-year-old boy. But other than that, we can move on into the second episode in a row where we have a werewolf-looking like creature. This one actually is a werewolf.
Indeed.
And it's the tragic story of Anthony Romulus.
It says, yeah.
The episode is titled Moon of the Wolf. And what are your thoughts on this?
It's okay. It's not the best. It's okay. It's not quite as bad as Critters or as bad as the Terrible Trio, but it's all right. And I like...
So it's not bottom of the barrel.
No, it's not bottom of the barrel. It's almost bottom of the barrel. It's not quite bottom of the barrel, but I like how they kind of linked this episode with using Dr. Milo in it. I think that's quite good. If they didn't use him in it, then the episode would have been garbage. But the fact that they put him in it and they were clever enough to do that kind of makes the episode worthwhile.
Yeah.
And it actually makes it a very important episode in the whole DCAU story. It really does, even all the way through to Splicers in Batman Beyond. It's quite an important episode from that point of view. You don't realise it watching it, but when you look back, having seen all of it, you do kind of realise how important it is.
And this is another one of those episodes like we talked about before, especially I think of it's never too late when I think of an episode like this, because as a child, it's not something that I particularly liked, not interested in seeing Batman fight a werewolf. It's like putting him against Frankenstein or something. It's not something that I don't really want to see. I just know that he's fought Dracula and stuff, and that's not something I've ever really cared for either. So, but this, watching it back and seeing the underlying story of like what you mentioned, I think there's two factors that make this a good episode. The fact that it has a long run continuity plot that plays a big effect into the whole DCAU is important. I also like the fact that they try to make it a very human story. They try to give a tragic downfall to the character, so it does kind of make you feel bad for this whole series is good for making you relate to the villain. And as a kid, I could care less, but actually, in watching it back, I could see that I enjoyed it a little bit more.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's get into it. We start off where it's a regular night in Gotham. Not too much going on. I'm sure there's something going on somewhere, but we are at Gotham Park, probably like their Central Park, and we see a security guard who's listed as John Hamner, and he has a dog that starts to get agitated and is growling at an unseen creature. And he runs over to it, sees that he's not really too concerned with anything. Maybe it was a squirrel or something. But then we see a huge werewolf-looking, almost looks similar to Tigress, but a little different. And he appears, and we think that he kills the guard that we're looking. But we do see that Batman arrives, and he says, if it's a fight you're looking for, try starting one with me. And he runs and lunges at him, and he struggles to fight him. And you could tell through the dialogue that Batman thinks that this is a guy in a costume, like all his villains. And he's like, take off your mask and that sort of thing. Or he's trying to yank it off. And the werewolf gets away, and Batman's left scratching his head.
Mm.
So what do you think of that opening?
It's not a bad opening act, I suppose. They do add a bit more depth to it as well as the episode goes on, which is good. Thank God they did. But it is quite interesting. Batman just thinking it can't be real. Like it's just some guy in a costume, and he says as much when he goes to the GCPD. So he goes in to meet Commissioner Gordon, and he says like, "Oh, just seen anything about a mugger wearing a werewolf mask?" And Commissioner Gordon looks it up, and the only thing he can find is about 2 wolves that were stolen from the zoo. I think it was last month. He said they were stolen.
Yes.
These 2 wolves. And as Batman's walking out, he's just like, I just had a disturbing thought. What if he wasn't wearing a mask? What if that was actually a wolf? When he finds like the real wolf hair on his costume and takes that off with him, the detective that Batman is.
And then we see from there, we get cut back to where we see a werewolf entering a little cabin-looking thing, and we see the aforementioned Dr. Milo with his really nice bowl cut. He's a man of style. And although the werewolf has entered the room, Dr. Milo could care less because he knows exactly who the werewolf is. Because it's his creation. And as soon as the sun comes up, we see that the werewolf turns into Anthony Romulus. And he assures that everything's going to be over soon with the whole transformation thing. And he asked him if he messed with the guard, and he said, yeah, but Batman showed up. And Dr. Milo is a little pissed, and he said that, okay, now we got to turn our deadly gaze toward Batman. He's going to be the one that we have to wipe out. And also it's a good chance for him to test out his werewolf steroid. See if it's up to par to take on someone like Batman. Yeah. And then where do we go from?
Yeah, so as you said, the wolf visits Milo, turns back into Romulus, and then he says about Batman and is interfering with him getting to Hamner, and Batman kind of saved him from getting killed, basically. Romulus then, as this is the element of the story that was very predictable, which Romulus knows Bruce personally, and they're going to the gym together. And he's like, saying that, saying to Bruce that if Batman turns up to his charity event, then he'll double the money. And this is where Batman was kind of naive. He shows up later that night, and ends up meeting Romulus. But slightly before that, we see Batman watching a video learning about wolves in the Batcave, and Alfred's like, "Oh, looking to acquire a new pet, sir." And to which Batman isn't very impressed.
No.
But then he heads over, as we said, to Romulus's place. Ends up getting gassed by him and being trapped. And Dr. Milo appears, even though he walks in seconds after Batman's just gotten gassed. Milo is completely unaffected by.
That's something I never thought of.
Which always makes me laugh. That there's about the DCAU. There's a lot of gas that that gets used in these Batman animated series episodes. Like everyone's always getting gassed, which is quite funny. So then Milo shows up and ends up chaining Batman outside in the can't remember where it is, some Gotham Research Center or something like that, or laboratory.
Yeah, it almost looks like a coliseum or a construction zone.
Yeah, it's a really weird place that he hides out on. Yeah, it's not very inconspicuous.
And what do you think so far up to this point?
It's okay. It's some bits of it are fairly predictable, but again, we don't really properly know where this wolf is coming from or anything like that. So it's quite interesting to see how the origin story of the wolf is told.
I also like the fact that you mentioned Dr. Milo comes out seconds after Batman's gas. Also just shows that he's such a coward as well, because he doesn't even want to confront him or even show anything to him yet. He's like, oh, now.
Yeah.
But then while Batman's gassed and he's chained up outside, we see that Romulus is, talking to Dr. Milo. And did you say that he really doesn't like doing the job for him? And he just wants to be rid of this werewolf formula. And we already were established that if he does this job for him, he'll change. But Dr. Milo reminds him, that all this great stuff that's happened to him in his life. And we start to see a flashback where we start to see Anthony Romulus as an Olympic athlete in his prime. And we see him training in almost like a montage style thing. And we get to hear how Dr. Milo came into contact with Anthony, and that Anthony wanted to win gold medal at any price and get all the fame and all the money and all the glory, the women, the cars. And Dr. Milo obliged, and he gave him something that wouldn't come up on test. It's not a regular steroid, a designer steroid. Very baseball-like stuff here, so it's actually true to life. And minus the fact that there's one thing that's different. It's the testosterone is of a wolf testosterone, I'm guessing, and it's spliced with actual werewolf stuff that he's been working on. And Dr. Milo is a mad scientist, so I don't know why he'd take any of the stuff, but he did, and he got everything he wanted, as we see in the flashback, and he got the gold, he got the cars, the money, the fame. He's got statues of himself in his own house, which is very Alex Rodriguez, and. And then we also see that this, like with anything, comes at a price. And we see that he has to become essentially a slave, Dr. Milo, do his bidding at night as a werewolf, and that he would only be given an eventual antidote if he continued to act out all this stuff until Dr. Milo felt that he's done enough.
Yeah. It's crazy, isn't it? Like, I bet this kind of stuff does go on with like undetected drugs and things in the real world. It's quite sort of accurate in that way, this episode. I mean, you have to look at like Lance Armstrong and what he got away with for all these years.
Yeah. I just watched a documentary on the guy that gave him his stuff, and he talked about microdosing, and you only get enough to where it helps you, but the body dispels of it before the test could pick it up. It's just crazy stuff. The lengths that people will go to cheat.
I know, like the effort that they put in to cheat will be better spent actually trying to win, and you might actually do it fairly, which is crazy.
Do it fairly. That thought alone is crazy.
Yeah.
No, but where do we go after this? I believe we see Harvey Bullock.
We do, yeah. Harvey Bullock appears, and he goes to see Hamner, and I love how he interrogates him. He says about the wolves. He says, "Oh, I'll feed you to your pet wolves if you don't tell me like what's going on. I noticed your bank account it's got bigger by a few grand over the last few weeks," and I really enjoy that scene. It's fantastic, and he says, "Oh, he'll tell of everything that's gone on," and then meanwhile, while that's happening, we see Romulus again turn into the wolf, and he attacks Milo straight away, which is quite funny. And we get to see Milo for the coward that he really is. I love how he instantly tries to throw a chair at him, like that's going to actually help. And he also, whilst this happens, he smashes the antidote as well. So that didn't go well for him.
No hope of Tiger saving it at the end this time.
No, that's it. It's all over, and he's going to be remaining a wolf forever. But after he sees Milo off, Milo falls off the side of a ridge and then gets knocked out on the floor. He then turns his attention to Batman and starts trying to take Batman on, the wolf does, and a passerby sees Batman and the wolf fighting, and so it's just the wind that you can hear howling, but it isn't. It's definitely a man wolf, and
that's one of my favorite scenes of the whole show, of the whole episode.
It's brilliant. It just shows how people how oblivious they are. It's just it can be just a normal night 1 second, and the next minute Batman's fighting a wolf. So they go to call the GCPD. And Batman's like, "Oh, you clearly got the advantage down here, so let's go to higher ground." And Batman climbs up to the top of like the whatever it is they're on, like a stadium or coliseum or something.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. I don't know what they're trying to reference, but from there we see Batman eventually does subdue him, like around the time that the cops show up and arrive, and of course they hold their fire because they don't want to shoot while Batman's fighting up on the construction area or wherever. Yeah. And eventually Milo is found and taken into custody, but we don't see what becomes of Anthony Romulus, the werewolf. Of course, we know the antidote is gone, and of course, so is he. He's probably hanging out with Tigress somewhere. At least they'd be compatible friends. But after that, we see a couple. This is what the really, of course, every Batman animated series episode always has a really good ending, usually. I would say 90% of the time, 95% of the time. And this is a very poignant ending and very cool, where we see people looking at Anthony Romulus's house and seeing his huge mansion, all his stuff, and thinking, oh, wasn't this his house? And man, he was great. Like, whatever happened to him? And we hear that he's disappeared. No one knows where he is. And then we hear that the guys say that it's strange because the guy had just about everything. And why would he give it all up? Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? And it's true, to get to everything, he had to give up everything. That's crazy. It's a little bit of a lesson in there, isn't it, as well, for kids, for cheating and stuff. It doesn't pay out for you. Yeah. Just like, it reminds me something similar to like the end of If You're So Smart, Why Aren't You Rich? Yeah. Like, the guy got millions of dollars, but he sleeps with a shotgun. Yeah, yeah. There's a nice little life lesson in there for people. And then, Anthony Romulus, he got gold and got fame, but he's also literally a freaking werewolf. Yeah, true. So big deal with all that stuff. Doesn't get him anywhere now. Yeah. So, what is your rating upon this rewatch? I'm gonna go for I'm gonna go for 5. I thought you were gonna go 4 out of 10 right there. When you said I'm gonna go 4 out of 10. I'm gonna go for a 5. I'll go for a 5 out of 10 because Milo saves the episode. The fact that they use him in it, and otherwise it's pretty poor. It's very predictable. It's not very exciting. The fight with Batman and the Wolf is pretty crap. The lines that give Batman are weak. Yeah, like. If it's a fight you're looking for, he calls him Harry, calls him Shaggy, all these stupid names. I'm gonna go for a 5 out of 10. It's not the best, but the fact that they use Milo and the continuity of it is very good. What do you reckon? I would go 5 to 6. I would agree with you, but because the cynic in me thinks that the only reason they added like that kind of story and tried to play on your emotions is because overall the episode is pretty piss poor, and the dialogue sucks. It feels like it was a little lazy and rushed. Like, what can we do this time? Yeah, I do like that they have the continuity of Dr. Milo. We'll see him again even in this series, which is awesome, and he's connected all the way to the Justice League. So that is the one really cool jewel. I could care less about Batman fighting those like classic kind of movie monsters like werewolves and mummies and that sort of thing. So, I like the Tiger storyline, but I can't get on board with this one. So I'd say a 5 or 6, depending on the nostalgia level. I think that's fair. Definitely fair, yeah. But we can't possibly have another animal themed episode coming up. No, I hope not. Anyway, next episode we are going to be reviewing. If my page will load, I'm pretty sure it's Night of the Ninja, Day of the Samurai next. It is Day of the Samurai next. I don't mind that. That's a good.
It's going to be another difficult episode, and then we go back into animals with Terror in the Sky. So, yeah, Day of the Samurai next. It's quite a good episode. Tricky to picture, but it's a good episode.
That will be hard. But it is cool seeing Batman in different locations.
It is, yeah. 3 completely different episodes to one another. Well, 4 with Joker's Wild. So
now we've come to the figure of the week.
Yes, very easy decision this week, I've got to say.
Really? What is it?
Okay, so my figure of the week is the Arkham Origins Batman DC collectible figure. Fantastic figure.
Looks good.
Loved photographing this figure. Got a couple more pictures to come from him before Christmas, and yeah, he is brilliant. Absolutely fantastic, and captures the game and the look of the character really perfectly. So, and it's also just an amazing batsuit. So yeah, it's definitely
simple,
easily
but so good.
Yeah, it's got pretty good articulation as well, and none of it compromises the suit. So definitely going to go for that one. Brilliant. How about you? What have you chose this week?
I've chosen Wonder Woman.
Oh, okay, interesting.
The Beast Kingdom variant, her Justice League War style costume. But I figure it's a little brighter and looks more in line with the Wonder Woman 84 stuff. So
yeah,
I've been inspired and trying to come up with ideas for her because she's a pretty good figure. And also the one figure that has hair movement, so it helps in doing action photos.
That is good. That is definitely a good thing. But
yes.
Interesting about Wonder Woman, they dropped the sword and the shield for the new movie because they thought it was too aggressive, which is I found that hilarious. But
what I also like is people like Nate will do a subtle dig with the photo he did last night where he did the Mezco Wonder Woman with the sword, and then after putting Wonder Woman, he put the sword emoji. So he's doing a little. I like his little subtle. Like I don't really agree with that.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
It's kind of stupid, the reasoning. It doesn't particularly bother me. She's still immense anyway, but it's kind of more in line with the animated series Wonder Woman because she never had the sword or shield in that. But at the same time, the reason for doing it is pretty stupid.
I don't even know why you have to say anything about anything because I'm pretty sure that if you didn't even mention it, most people wouldn't even be saying, "Oh, where's her sword?"
I didn't even notice. Like this.
Yeah.
And
I would just, if you didn't notice it in the trailer, just be like, "Oh man, eventually she'll bring it out." But why even address it or say anything? And also, movies that do that, and especially in sequels, tend not fare well, especially the people that love their first movie. Like, if you've ever seen Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, their first one, they actually used weapons and their ninja stuff to fight, and it's actually pretty. For a movie about turtles, it's pretty violent. And then the second one, they're like fighting with sticks of salami and French bread, and it's very cartoony. They didn't want to use the weapons because it's too aggressive or violent for kids. That's the whole reason people like the first movie, and you're going to change it. So I don't know.
It's weird.
I don't know if I fully agree, but I think it'll be something creative. At least I have to use her weapons in a new. And now because because they said that. I saw the trailer last night at Star Wars, and I saw, she uses her tiara, and a scene throws it at something. It's like, oh, man. Now I'm noticing it because you said it.
Yeah, it is a bit of a strange decision, isn't it? I think if you come out and have to address something without being asked to, you're kind of wrong in it, or it's not kind of. You're not convincing yourself it's the right decision, so you have to try and convince other people that didn't even notice it anyway. So, yeah, very strange.
No, I'm glad that you brought that up before you signed off.
Very, very weird. But yeah, the suit though, like that you mentioned with the brightness, I do love that. It looks brilliant.
It does. And again, I just love that song, like you said.
Oh, it's amazing.
Speaking of, one more thing, especially DC animation or DC just media. Reeves Effects. He has a life cast of Robert Pattinson, and he threw some paint on it.
Yes.
And put a cowl on it, and it is a shade of blue, which he's an insider, so he might be giving it a reference to some way the cowl and suit might look. He might be giving us a hint, but it looks so stinking good. Just seeing his chin
Yeah.
It looks like straight up like the comics.
It's the perfect suit that we mentioned a few. I think it might have been on the STS guys podcast, which check out, by the way. It was great fun being on there, and we mentioned it then. And I think it was Scott that asked me. He was like, "What do you want to see from the bat suit?" I said, "Just the Hush suit. Just put that on there." And that's literally what it is. It is the Hush suit.
You were right.
Really good. The emblem
I hope that's perfect. It, though.
Yeah, definitely hope that's it. It looks great. And it's a nice shade of blue as well. Not this bright, stupid Mezco Sovereign Night blue. It's a nice dark Hush blue, which is great.
Yes, it's just enough blue. And it's not, it's a dark navy blue, and it's not, even because George Clooney's costume had a blue tint to it, but it was a light kind of blue.
Yeah.
Or a lighter blue than this. So I think they got the shade right, just like you said.
Yeah, definitely.
But you did call it so far. You called it with the Hush.
It does look really nice. I hope that's what they stick with, because it looks fantastic.
Yeah, and I saw that got a lot of viral news yesterday. So
yeah,
hopefully it is a hint.
It's like a Hush or an Arkham Asylum Batman suit, so it looks really good.
Pattinson's got the golden chin so far.
Yeah, he has. He really has.
But any other news, anything that you want to talk about?
I think that is about it. Yeah, really excited to see what comes. And yeah, next episode, we're going to be doing our top 5 figures of the year, which is very excited about, and reviewing the company, seeing what they've been up to this year, what's good, what isn't so good.
We'll be able to talk about Bullethead.
Yeah, hopefully. I probably won't be here in time, but definitely be talking about them. Hopefully you'll be having a Bullethead figure.
I was hoping it would get there in time, but we'll see. Yeah. Maybe there'll be a Christmas miracle. But that'll be cool. And then, that's probably an episode I've been looking forward to the most. But I don't know if we'll be able to get a guest. We might. Who knows? But it's a pretty busy time of year. People have a lot of commitments and stuff going on with work parties, family parties, and all that. So it's understandably a busy time of the year. So we'll try, though. I know we're just have to schedule for the beginning of next year because he's so busy with this time of year. So we still will have him on, but it'll be at the beginning of the year. So that actually would be a cool episode. Discuss all the newness and freshness.
Yeah.
Hopefully some McFarlane stuff.
Absolutely. I was just going to say, hopefully we'll have some new McFarlane things to talk about by then.
And Lewis is never one to hold in his thoughts, so it's always interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
So we will catch you next time, and it will be a big end of the year celebration. And hopefully we got a lot of new stuff. I know I'll have some new lights, hopefully. As for some ring lights like you got, so hopefully.
Awesome. But yeah, hopefully, it'll be probably after Christmas. So anyone listening, hope you all have a fantastic Christmas. And same to you, Tyler. Have a great one. Enjoy it.
Yes, don't get overdosed on plastic too much.
Or
spend time with your family.
Yes,
or turkey.
Definitely. Yeah.
But yes, from DC Figures and Collectibles, Merry Christmas to everyone. And
have a good one.
We will speak to you very soon.